Peace. Uh, Today is March 15th, 2021. It's currently 11:20 p.m. Oh, and I wanted to talk to you a document an occurrence of this past weekend. Today is Monday, March 21st. I mean March 15th, 2021. And over this past weekend, I spent the whole weekend with my lady, Tamia, Nava. It was cool. It was enjoyable. Had a good time. It's funny. It was cool. That statement. I guess that speaks to how I feel, how my pride makes me feel, how my pride thinks I should feel. Why would I just say it was cool? It's kind of belittling. I enjoyed myself. I guess the part that will make me think about it's cool is not my lady, but our circumstance or how I feel about my life, which is highlighted in our weekend. Places where we stay, or energies that impact us, that type of stuff. So it's not at all about my lady. My lady is great. But I haven't noticed that. I haven't been able to separate the two things a lot in my time. My lady's great. My life is great. Everything I want to achieve has not been achieved. So I gotta do some more work on the third thing. But a lot of times, and what I've been doing, my routine was to, I guess, indict everything under one and let it, my lack of achievement, override any positives that may be in my life. I think that may be beneficial and good. And that leads to a conversation. Well, what really the emphasis of today is, which is being honest about what's going on, seeing things for what they are. That's a terrible way to put that. But I'll be particular. So Friday came, went to work, working at Trinity Tax, doing taxes on 22nd in Indiana, 2941 North 22nd Street, 19132. 6-month lease that we got. I guess I'll talk about that. 6 month lease that I acquired working at Quick Abstract, connections that have been made. Of course, Keisha White owns Quick Abstract, and I worked for Keisha, and I will work for Keisha again, more than likely, if Keisha will have me back. Uh, Kimmy is a friend of Keisha. Kimmy owns properties, in addition to other things. And one of the properties she owns is a commercial property storefront, to which we needed, which was my last conflict coming into 2021, not having a commercial space. I wasn't able to acquire one in time enough, and I wouldn't have been able to do anything with anything that I acquired so late into the year. So yeah, so I bargained for a 6 month lease. I was looking for places I can stay or work. We can work out of for the year for a short amount of time, preferentially. That's not the right word. Preferential is about is a description of favor, preferably. It's a deadline, preferably. So I requested one. Kimmy wasn't really interested. Keisha helped me out, convinced her. I got a 6 month lease, $1,500 a month. Me and him gonna be in and out. It's March right now. We paid the whole months up, three up front, and then I paid three. Ran 3 months in full, maybe a month, some about 2 weeks ago, just to get it out of the way. Don't have that thought of stress on your mind. Uh, and now, well, we've been working. There's a bunch of snowstorms. We let that set us off. And Jawar came into town. Him and Khadijah and Nari. My niece, his daughter, well, their daughter, came into town for February, pretty much the whole entire February. That's documented somewhere else. You can find that information elsewhere. If you're privy, it's not going to be on YouTube because it's not my personal stuff. Um, Let me answer my lady's call. Let her know I'm going to talk to her later. Or I can just not answer it, and she will suppose I'm resting. But I'll call her back, let her know. I guess I won't. How you can't see us live. Whatever. She texted me that she was going to rest. So I don't need to. Yeah, but Jordan came into town. Snow came into town. So we weren't advertising, putting up signs. just weren't as attentive. Um, whoa, whoa, whoa. Um, so, as of now, we're not doing as well as we usually do. I guess we could say usually. I wouldn't really say usually, but I did say it. I wouldn't consider something a habit until something has been replicated probably three times. Um, or not a habit, but a expectation. Or, yeah, we moved around. Things keep changing. It's hard to nail down something. No, it's not nothing in the same. It's hard. Yeah, nothing's been really. It's been a bunch of variables that would disallow me from considering something normal or usual. But our numbers are down because of, I guess, all those things Aaron mentioned, um, and things not mentioned. So that's concerning. It's put more pressure on achieving outside of this. And being a business person, which, like I said, I'm sure you may have noticed on the previous video. Don't feel that about myself just yet. I feel more like a hustler right now. But that look good. If I didn't have a gap, I was thinking about removing the gap in Invisalign. What you think? So that's business. I don't really have a lot to say on that. I'm fighting hard, trying hard, not working, doing enough, and yeah, failing myself, letting opportunities pass. Um, that's tough to say, but it's true. Um, but to go back to what I initially was really eager to talk about, yeah, it's tough to say. No, that was a deeper acknowledgement than usual. I mean, not a deeper. I guess you could say a deeper acknowledgement, but that resonated more so than when I just think it. Maybe just hearing it out loud, spoken. But I think that often. that doesn't usually strum a chord as much as it just did. And I wonder if you come. So on Friday, I left from work 6 o'clock or so. Went to get grandma some stuff. My grandma Rachel, my grandma Rachel Benson. I guess I ought to not put that out on the internet. Hmm. And then I went, and then Tamia came here because she asked me to go out. Because I called her before I was leaving the office. It was a nice day, about 73, 74 degrees. Firstly, she was like really defensive. But then I asked her to just cool out, take that off, the chip off her shoulder, which is reason. Then I'm not mad at the chip. But she ended up asking me for it and on a date. So she met me after, like I said, after I got to the house, probably about 8 o'clock. We went to Jersey to go to Millennium Skating Rink. First time I've been. I was thinking about going in February when Folk was here. Rule Kwaim, Juar, Khadijah. Um, yeah, I'm leave it there. But it didn't come to pass. Because I just didn't try. I just didn't will that to happen. Uh, but we went. It was nice. Very nice rink. Uh, very nice. Yeah, it was black. It was really, really nice. I enjoyed it myself a lot. It's footage somewhere. If you have it, if you've seen it, you've seen it. Yeah. Left, went back to Tamia's house Friday night. Stayed over at her mother's house. Her mother's house is what I meant. On Udall Street, 612 South. I guess I shouldn't put that out on the internet. Oh, wow. These journals, man. Yeah, let's pick it up. Stayed there. Did that, boom. Got up the next day, Saturday. Um, ordered some pancakes. We went to get those. She cooked some potatoes and stuff to go along with the pancakes. We eat that. I think we really did nothing Saturday. I can't even remember. We ate. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we did anything particularly on Saturday. Think about it. We played Uno Flip. That was fun. Then we got I ordered New Delhi. New Delhi. I don't know what we did though. Like both of our days. maybe just talk. I can't recall. Or New Delhi, eat that. Uh, with the rest, got up on Sunday. Oh, that's what we did. I'm tripping. I'm thinking my days mixed up. On Saturday, we had a long discussion, which is the crux of this video, and a big revelation in part of my weekend. The most, well, yes, a large part of my weekend. We were listening to music, just talking, stuff like that. I was just listening. She was speaking to me about many of the things that she feels. We had a discussion about other other women friends, and she was expressing how she felt about that. Other new women friends that I might procure. And speaking on that, speaking on fear, speaking on angst, speaking on feelings, emotions that have been harbored, not as much, understood and everything, but still feelings harbored, regardless of understanding or logical recourse. And we talked about that like two. Well, she talked for the most part. I was trying my best to just listen. I'm not as good a listener as I would hope to be. Um, I listen a lot. I listen. I always listen, but sometimes I don't just listen, and sometimes that's what people want. It appears strange to me, and that's why it's always been difficult for me to just do because I've usually don't make statements about things unless I don't know. I make random statements. I do. But generally, if something's holding weight on me, I would want it to be soft. I probably wouldn't talk about it just to explain the weight that it holds on me. I would be doing that in pursuance of resolution or the concourse to get that weight off of me. But some people talk about, and that's healthy, really. I guess I'm not sure. Who knows? Some people also taking, or not only just do that what I described, but also put into practice speaking and just I guess defining their problems and I guess being able to hear them or let them be heard. And that's it. And they're not necessarily looking for you to speak on it or direct them or advise or they're not would they're not strung on it. I guess strung up on it. The problem, I guess, is filtered and maybe it's dealt with at a different time. It's not a neutralized attack on site situation. That's how I oftentimes listen because that's how I am. I try to deal with things. I rush some stuff. But like I said, some people just want to be listened to. And I want you to say nothing outside of, and okay. What do you think? Yeah. I always take complaining as superfluous or just a waste. Not a waste, but Ouroboros Ouroboros, or like an endless loop, snake eating its tail. But I guess eating is something you know what it tastes like, you know what it is, you know yourself. That's what it's all about. Who knows? But it's something I didn't know, and I'm still learning. Yes, listening does not always require a response. Active listening is not always just responsive. It's not always relate to responsiveness. So we concluded that conversation. Well, that listening session. The conversation I spoke as well, but I just wasn't gearing for anything or trying to resolve. I guess I wasn't able to do so because it was emotions that she was speaking on, to which I know I have no real control or hand on, for something that, or on a topic that we already came to a logical understanding on. She forgave me already, but it's more so about not being able to forget. Yes, that's what haunts a person. Those memories. She wants to forget, but she can't. Ignorance is bliss sometimes. Tired, man. But yeah, like I said, we concluded the conversation. She then got a little quiet. I guess she's internalizing everything. But about 30 minutes later, an hour, 30 minutes, an hour, I asked if everything was alright. She was, I think, playing a guitar at the time. I asked if everything was alright. She said, yeah. And her response to me was, I just wish that you would have learned later. I mean, learned earlier. I came around earlier. And by that, she was referring to me stating that I more so can recognize my fault and everything, or what I was responsible for. You know, me, I make a lot of comparisons. I'm a scientist, so I theorize based on experience and a context based on experience. So whenever something comes in, it's filtered through that lens first and compared, therefore, to whatever predated it. So well, just in my life, I've always been a comparative person. Uh, and that showed itself in my relationship as I was speaking. I was just making comparisons, blatant ones too. I would say stuff like that too. My lady, I talk to other women about my lady, which is also foul, which I no longer am interested in doing. Now I kind of see the ills in it. Even before we had that talk, but it just indicates where she felt I was, and how far I have to go in her head emotionally for there to be a true understand, well, peace. comparison is the thief of joy. That's something I noticed 2 to 3 weeks ago. I heard the quote long before that and I agree with it then, but I just haven't. It just needed to strike me again now, or at that time. And I noticed that I think it was related to more so uh, sex. I always, I kind of, but yeah, leave it alone. It was related to sex as I noticed just, and I realized what could be driving my sex drives so far down, are making me uh, ooh, making my, yeah, just influencing me and my canons. Me seeing all this internet porn, and I'm not talking about just like crazy stuff. I'm talking about a woman shaking her ass on Instagram or in a sexual way, not just dancing, but intentionally or whatever, you know, arousal or not arousal, but yeah, or me seeing you just becoming desensitized to stuff. Therefore, when it is time to be sensitive, it's harder to do so because you no longer canon what you did before. Your coordinate is moved. You're trying to find a basement in a new house. The door is not where it was before. So I noticed that. Notice I was comparing women to my woman. And I know that habits at large. I'm comparing myself to other people, comparing my successes to other people's, comparing everything. That's what we do, fortunately. As we were made to compete. Not we were not we were made by made I mean programmed. I don't know who made competitive, you know. I'm sure we have survival within us, but I don't think it's much a food chain inside the human family. Because there's enough for everybody, fortunately enough. But it's just programmed that way. Socialism alert, socialism, like no. It's just programmed that way. So then you start comparing and trying to best somebody, something, someone in an age where somebody could be anything. Everything is present. You're not gonna be the best. You're not gonna be the greatest. You're not gonna be the fastest, the tallest, the cutest, the ugliest, the shortest, the tallest, the nothingest. You are a part of the gray. So there's no need to compare. Because even if you are better than this person, even if you are taller than this person, even if you're shorter than this person, even if you're smarter than this person, even if you're dumber than this person, it's always pluralized. Or it's always another person or another thing. That's even further than what you are or were in either direction. However, you see it positive. Or whichever way you would like. Whatever you desire. So don't get it caught up in that race because it's never ending. This is a very rudimentary thought, and it's one I had, but like I said, it just struck me more so now because I was just seeing it and just being. It just needed to touch me now, so it did. So, so I decided to stop because, like I said, that comparison put me in bad situations in my relationship. Potentially embarrass the woman I am with and love. Put her through a lot of stress. Made me devalue her and make her feel devalued. Made her, in many capacities, many facilities, a worse person than she was. And of course, I vowed to never do that. So after I was sitting there and she said to me, I wish you'd have done, I learned all this sooner after as we described these things. And as gently and politely as she said it, so daintily and just vulnerable. It was honest. She couldn't bark it. She didn't scream it. She just, this is what I want. If I had a hope, if I had a desire, I wish I would have just been. And that brought me to tears. Like I said, because I vowed not, well, to be an, an attribute to a woman, to black women. Go beyond the service of person's a person. When we lessen our women, our conditions seem to worsen. Black men walking with white girls on their arms, I be mad at them. As if I know their moms. Told me go beyond the service of person's a person, but when we lessen our women, our conditions seem worse. So, yeah, I cried. Just think about how how I felt. Yeah, started with a slow cry, quiet cry. I was laying on her back, and I kind of hit it. I was being prideful. But then I decided to talk about it. Not me crying, but just to apologize and further unpack the emotions I felt at the time, as I don't usually do so, and let her know how I felt about the situation. Just to let her know that I feel something, that I, it affects me. So I did, and it led to tears, dying of thirst. It was a very great cry, and it got better and better and better as "Show You Off" by Brent Fayez played on repeat and I did that intentionally. And that's a song that that's a song was playing as I sat there initially. Just thought about the vow that I made myself and the message in that song. Struck, I guess, the first chord alongside the message, or not struck the first chord, but intensified what I already felt as far as that commitment I made to myself, as far as the betterment of women, black women in general. But I'm not a general person. I'm speaking, yeah, black women. So yeah, it's like a mirror. Like I said, then it got better as I began actually explaining, and then stopped hiding my tears as I was initially. Couldn't see me. I was laying on the back. Uh, but then I decided, like I said, to express regret and apologize for what I had done and explain my apology. And as I explained it, I got to crying more and more and more and releasing a lot of pride and ego and guilt that I felt. Just let it go. And I let it go. I was snotting and everything. Serious. That's the first time I've cried like that in a long time. And that's the first time I cried like that ever in front of to me. I've cried before, but it was more so. It was as sentimental as the first part of my cry was, as far as just crying and hiding it, kind of like crying and just being com- composed. I was overwhelmed by my cry, and overwhelmed in a good way. It was relieving. Hmm. Yeah, and I cried and I cried, and I drew it all back to just my love for self, as I feel like that's the constant, and why I would compare in the first place, and why I needed attention from everybody, and why I jumped right into another relationship, and I did that all the time, and how I got into this current relationship. And a part of that is the reason why I was more considerate than I had to be considerate based on my vow with my previous partner while I was in a relationship with my new partner, or with my lady now, my lady. And that of course would cause trouble because we just all want our possession. We all want to feel special. We want to feel unique. And access makes us that. So, that consideration, that care that I didn't let dissolve or transform into something else based on time, still alive and ever present. And I cried and I cried, thinking about how all I had to do was just be okay with myself. And I could have done like she said, just been a little wiser a little earlier. As wise as he is, he's still stupid because he doesn't know himself. And he doesn't know himself. And he doesn't love himself because he doesn't know himself. Therefore, we just start getting to thrill seeking and finding the unknown so it could be whatever we can be, whatever we want to be, and claim that we are that what we've expressed ourselves to be. That's the thing about that. That's what you do. You find a place that doesn't know you are. You find an unknown, seeking the chase of the unknown. You don't know what it is. And I cried. And she cried with me. And as I was trying to be a better person already, like I said, the last couple weeks, not comparing, deleting social medias, all my phones, stuff like that. And committing to it. I've done that before, but just committing to it and having a purpose behind it. Or not a purpose, but having a goal. I will have a purpose always, but I wouldn't have it. It's an applicable and a tangible desire. So be a little easier. So, please stop comparing yourself, your partner, your family, your lover, your sister, your brother. Just love them for who they are. Stop liking so much shit. You don't know what that is to like it. You don't have it. You don't know enough to like something. You have enough. You know enough to be intrigued, to be interested. But you take that interest and you build that castle. And you think that's true, but it may not be true because you don't want know anything. So here we are, after all this pain. My lady's trying to forget the past and all the times she's been hurt by me and devalued and made smaller, made clunkier. Trying to forget all that so she can be the girl that she wants to be, that I want her to be. Unbridled, liberated. That's a tough job. And here I am trying to do the same thing in a different manner. Trying to forget all the things I could compare to and forget the behavior of a person that does not want to focus on themselves, and their issues and everything of that sort. That was that. I'm out. I'm probably gonna crop that out. Boy, oh boy, it's 12. It's 12:11 now, and I didn't get much rest yesterday because I was getting my hair done. Stayed up till like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock for sure. 2 o'clock at least. 2 a.m. That's what we did on Sunday. 8. Laid down, enjoyed each other. And then we came over here and did my hair. And that went on until 2 a.m. And then daylight savings ended, so I lost an hour and I had to get up at 8:30 and go to work. Then I worked till 6 o'clock. Then I got off, came to my grandma's house. She wanted me to go to the market for her. Went there, been there for 2 hours. Got here, ate, eating some change, put all the groceries away, clean the fridge up some. Took me to about 10 o'clock. 10, yeah, 10:30. Talking, uploading videos, all that stuff. Here I am, 12:13, falling to rest, sitting up. I love you. Peace. Show you off. Brent Fight ass. That's me and Tamia's song. Who's gonna call you?